Hello everyone and welcome back to the Belgian Beer Brothers channel. Cedric here in Antwerp with yet another brew review. Today we are looking back to a few months ago. I actually completely missed this release, but I saw this week in a local grocery store and I thought I can get behind that, so I still bought one. I am talking about the Brussels Beer Project Freestyle. I know when looking at this can, and the artwork is by Camille Toussaint. I completely forgot the name, thank God they printed on this can. When looking at this can, we see a girl on a skateboard. That is, of course, referring to the freestyle and vice versa. But we see a few details on this can that are I'm not gonna say atypical for Brussels Beer Project or even for beer, but just some things that catch our eyes. First of all, they say positive Belgian brewery here. It is a girl skating, and that is very important. And it is not at all pink and flowery, for example. Why am I emphasizing this? This beer is brewed in honor of International Women's Day. And why do I emphasize the date? We are a bit late to the party because International Women's Day, if I recall well, is March 8th, somewhere around there. So I want to read this can aloud for you guys. Hey, from Brussels with love, bold beers, big smiles and good vibes all around. We brew for the curious, the adventurous and anyone who just loves a great beer. Crack one open, share it and enjoy it. So far so good. This is quite standard on Brussels Beer Project cans. And when I say so far so good, I don't mean we're going downhill from here. But this does have another tone because together with Pink Boots Society, we're celebrating International Women's Day and all the incredible women at Brussels Beer Project. Enjoy a beer brewed and designed by all our female talents. Bold, punchy and unique. Brussels Beer Project does employ a lot of people, also a lot of women. They do use their female resources whenever possible. I think this is a nice effort, and this is a quite odd style because this is a Lemon Iced Tea IPA. Now we have known Brussels Beer Project to use names to be catchy instead of really covering the load, but nonetheless it caught my eye and I bought it, so it works. They also make mention of Pink Boot Society here, and Pink Boot Society is an organization that strives to educate and help women in the fermented and alcoholic beverage industry to get boots on the ground. No pun intended. So another thing that we can only get behind. That all being said, I am so very curious, so let's see what this is. A Lemon Iced Tea IPA, 5.5% ABV, and unfortunately no mention about the hops. They do mention, and this is also quite interesting, that it contains malted barley, malted rye and malted oats. So I'm thinking American style, I'm thinking very well rounded, a lot of protein. I'm thinking nice. Of course, because this is for International Women's Day, I brought out the fancy glass, the Brussels Beer Project Classic Teku glass. Lovely color. I would call this a more coppery blonde or a orangey gold, but I would go with copper blonde in this case. Some carbonation, but not very active. Quite hazy, although the glass is condensed, of course, but still rather a hazy beer. And and yellowish, beigeish, off-white foam, mainly yellowish, off-white foam. Very, very nice. Of course, with rye, with oats, you get a lot of protein, you get a lot of foam stability, as long as they don't screw up the brewing. So I was, of course, expecting a beautiful head of foam on this beer. Two things in the nose. First off, from afar, while pouring, while taking a occasional whiff, it is exactly as promised. Of course, our brain is primed in this case, but it is lemon iced tea all the way. Of course, when coming closer, we do get a lot of hop in there. Very hoppy, very, I would say things like Sabro, for example, things that are very fruity. And I don't get that much lemon. I would have expected a bit of like that pungent, stingy citra here. I don't get the citra. I do get a lot of yellow grapefruit and a lot of zest. So, but of course, lemon does sound better than grapefruit iced tea. But nonetheless, smells very, very nice. Yeah, in a blind tasting, I would immediately want to take a sip of this. And as expected, a very American style hazy IPA, New England IPA. Same goes for those hops. So I am very curious. Let's have a taste. Cheers. Ooh, quite different than the nose. First off, mouthfeel. Nice. Exactly what you would expect. Slightly thin. I would have thought with rye and oats this would be a bit thicker, a bit more well-rounded, a bit more full. But it is rather thin. However, very, very pleasant. It has quite a bit of carbonation, but very tiny bubbles, as if they used a champagne yeast, for example, or a wine yeast. But that is absolutely present. And I think it gives a bit more standing to the beer, a bit more like pizzazz, a bit more yeah, chicness. And I think that we can only support that for International Women's Day. Secondly, the flavor, the taste. Being rather thin in mouthfeel actually totally contributes to the lemon iced tea feel. So I think this was very much intentional. I think that BBP, as always, knows very good what they do and are very mindful of every step that they take or don't take. So I think everything is intentional with these guys. So that thin mouthfeel really adds to the idea of lemon iced tea. And even though I didn't get that typical citra hop, citrusy, lemony nose, I do get a lot of lemon in this beer. Whether it be from hops or from some added lemon juice, I don't know. It doesn't say so in the ingredients. But then again, they also don't mention any hops in the ingredients. So technically, this beer has no water, no hops and no yeast, if we have to believe these ingredients. So who knows? They may have added a bit of lemon as well. But this is an absolute hit when it comes to delivering what it promises. It is exactly what it says on the can. Yeah, lemon iced tea. Quite carbonated, quite nice. I am once again impressed by Brussels Beer Project. It's getting annoying. These guys always seem to pull it off. I really want to hate them, but I just can't. Of course, I don't want to hate them. I don't want to hate anyone. And on that note, I do have one small message for haters when it comes to beer haters, women haters, misogynists, LGBTQ plus haters, whatever. I very often get the question, why am I such a feminist or a trans ally or an LGBTQ supporter? And I always have to answer that actually I'm not. I'm not a feminist. I'm not LGBTQ. I am, sorry boys, straight as a razor. But I do have a lot of queer and gay friends. I know a lot of trans people. I work a lot with women, and I don't think that I am an ally or I am a feminist. I think I am an equalist. I believe that every human being should be equal. And if we ever make a division, please don't do it on skin color or on gender or identity, but please do it on IQ or something like that, something measurable. But I don't think I'm an ally or anything like that. I think I'm just trying to be a decent fucking human being. So, yeah. And I'm very curious for how many followers I will lose after a statement like that. But hey, fuck those people. Back to the beer. I think the only remark that I could make for this beer, and I'm really searching now, is that in the nose it is very hoppy. We do get those bitter scents from the hop, that tingling in the side of the nose. And that takes away from the iced tea feeling, but apart from that, it is a beautiful IPA. It is extremely well brewed. It absolutely delivers what it promises on the packaging, which is, by the way, also very nice. So I cannot go under 375. Even the after flavor is lemon iced tea. I am very curious how they pull this off, because this is a very nice brewing feature. Yeah, 375 it is. As usual, thank you guys for watching. If you want to support this channel, share a video, hit the Patreon page, look around. If you want to see more, hit that thumbs up, hit the bell icon after you subscribe, and you will get notified whenever I upload something. And I will see you guys in the next video. Cheers.